JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. So 28 years of being a CPA, working with my clients directly. Behind here is some of the things I've been talking with my clients that I've put together for you. So for the EIDL grants, that includes the targeted grant as well as the supplemental targeted grant, I'm going to do a quick overview for you. So one thing I want you to note is no matter when you got the grant, how you got the grant, what the grant was called, the EIDL grants, none are taxable, none reduce down your expenses for tax purposes. These are both great things. It does not reduce down your PPP loan forgiveness, whether you got it last year, this year, PPP 1, 2, first draw, second draw. Does not reduce down your loan forgiveness amount. It used to. It used to be taxable. It used to reduce down your expenses. That is no longer. Also, just note that you can't use the EIDL funds and then also count that payroll if you spend it on payroll for PPP forgiveness, and you can't use those funds for payroll that you're then using that payroll for a payroll tax credit, such as the employee retention tax credit or the family sick leave credits. Now, with the EIDL grants, so the one that was last year has expired. So the only two that we're working with currently is the targeted grant and the targeted supplemental grant. It's by SBA invitation, so they email you and invite you to apply. Word is that now open to all qualified businesses that have applied for the EIDL. I still haven't seen anything official on this, but it's being reported by the news, by the media. I've not seen anything official, but here's the thing to note. If you get an email from the SBA inviting you to apply for the targeted grant and or the supplemental targeted grant, then if you qualify, you can apply for it. If you need it, you can apply for it. In essence, what I'm trying to relay to you is that this is the only way you're actually going to get either one of these grants is by an invitation. The second thing I want you to note is that for the grant last year and the targeted grant, when you take those two grants together, you will not get more than $10,000 in total. So I got an example up here that if the grant in 2020, you got $2,000, then if you were able to qualify, apply, and receive the targeted grant, well, you'd only get actually $8,000 because $10,000 is the max that you can get of these two grants in total. So if you got zero last year and you qualified and applied for the targeted grant, then you would get 10 grand. If you got $5,000, you'd get $5,000. Long story short, you can work the math any way you want. In this example, I'm telling you, you're only going to get a max 10 grand. Now, with the targeted supplemental grant, it's a flat $5,000. That $5,000 is in addition to the 10 grand that you could get up here with the grant that you would have maybe gotten 2020 and what you may have gotten with the targeted grant. So it's $5,000 in addition to those. So the max that you're going to get on EIDL grants is $15,000. You add all that up, the max is $15,000. So if you got 10 grand last year and you got an invitation, you qualified and you applied for the targeted grant, you're going to get none of it because you got 10 grand last year. However, you can then apply by invitation from the SBA for the targeted supplemental grant, which is that additional $5,000. Now, to qualify for the targeted grant, you have to be an EIDL applicant. You have 300 or less employees. You have gross revenues that have been reduced by at least 30% in any 8-week period that is March 2nd or after of 2020. And then the big one is that your business is located in the low-income community. I'm going to give you a link to information and FAQs related to this, as well as the SBA's link to a map to determine if your business is in a low-income community. Now for the targeted grant, similar but a little more stringent on who can qualify. Still an EIDL applicant. You have to have 10 or less employees. The gross revenue must be a reduction of at least 50% in any 8-week period starting March 2nd of 2020 and in a low income community. So basically, if you're looking at these 2 additional grants in addition to what you got last year, the max is still going to be $15,000. All right, hey, hopefully that helps. Listen, if you've made it to here and you're not a subscriber, 28 years in the business, still working with clients. My videos are when my clients have questions, I then put them into videos as I am thinking others would have the same questions needing the same answers. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. Have a great one.